Good morning, welcome to the show. It's Tuesday, March the 11th. Something a little bit different today. We are here on the first day of the Cheltenham Festival on Champion Hurdle Day, and the first time we are bringing the Nick Luck Daily podcast to you live and in glorious Technicolor alongside Jane Mangan and our first guest, the man who rode the Champion Hurdle winner on Istabraq 3 times for the first time 27 years ago, Charlie Swan. I can barely believe it. Good morning.
You don't look that old though.
I didn't think I was
changed a bit, has
Well, I didn't think this morning we'd have Charlie Swan basically taking the mic from me, but look, he can take the mantle on a day where we could possibly see is a Constitution Hill as good as Istabraq was. We'd like your opinion on that.
Look, he looks amazing horse. He looks very, very good, and he's done everything brilliant. Obviously, they've had their little setbacks on the way, so that's the only little question mark. But he is very good, and he jumps really well. So yeah, he's going to be very hard to beat.
And when you watch him, does he remind you in any respect of those wonderful days riding Istabraq?
He does, especially when he came up so long at the last in last year's Champion Hurdle. 2 years ago. He's very exciting. He gets from A to B very quickly, and that's what Champion Hurdle needs to do. He needs to land running, and his jumping is very, very good.
And when you come out here on a morning like this, and everyone's now deserted us in the background, but we're about to get filled with a whole load more horses and connections. When you come out here on the first morning of the Cheltenham Festival, just explain how it feels as someone who was such a key participant of it for so many years, and still is to a certain extent.
Yeah, look, it's always so exciting. Like the Cheltenham Festival, it's a lot of people's end and end all, but it's fantastic occasion, and the atmosphere is always brilliant. So it's great to come down in the morning and see the horses and the excitement of everybody kind of looking forward to everything.
Dare I ask you how clear your memories are of Istabraq's first Champion Hurdle, or is it all in video?
I'll be honest, and this is not because Charlie's beside me, and I don't want to dampen his day, but my first memory of Istabraq is him pulling up.
Oh my word, okay, yeah, no, don't put a dampener on proceedings.
Yeah, no, but it is, and that's how long it's been since we've seen a horse of that calibre. But he was different. I was just watching the replays, Charlie. He was aggressive and he had flat class. Constitution Hill is different. He's not glossy and shiny, but when the acceleration is asked for, it just kicks in.
Yeah, Istabraq wasn't as quick as everybody thought. Like we always thought he was 2.5, 3 mile horse at the start, but
imagine that's the kind of horses they were dealing with. That they thought Istabraq was a 3 miler.
But Aiden, he just got speed into him, and then he jumped so quick that made up for his not being the quickest in the world.
And you going around the inside as well probably helped him quicken up too, did it?
Well, I only went around the inside once on him, I think. So yeah, but
after that, you knew how good he was, and you didn't need to.
Yeah, no, he was an easy horse to ride, and Constitution Hill is an amazing horse. He looks pretty similar, but we'll wait and see.
All right, well, the man who is putting up the biggest threat to Constitution Hill, of course, is Gordon Elliott, and it was to everybody's great fortune that he announced last week that Brighterdaysahead would take on Constitution Hill, and here he is with us on the gallops at Cheltenham. Gordon, good to see you. How are you this morning? How did you pull up this morning?
I'm good, yeah. Didn't leave the house last night, so good and fresh this morning.
Good man.
Looking forward to today. A bit nervous, but can't wait to get going.
He'll leave the house if he wins today.
Definitely.
I suspect you might. In terms of days you have been nervous about, days that you have anticipated eagerly, where does this one rank? Can you remember feeling just like this on a Cheltenham day before?
Yeah, Don Cossack. It's probably the only day I've ever really felt like this, But look, the mare's over. She's in good form. We can't do any more. We know the race that's going to be. Constitution Hill is going to be very, very hard beat. He's a superstar, and everyone's forgetting about State Man. That man Willie Mullins. He could have him back here right today, and the rest of the field. Look, we can't do any more than our mare's in good form, and I'm really looking forward to the race. Just hope there's no hard luck stories. It's a simple race. Every horse gets to run in the race, and the best horse wins, and hopefully it's my mare.
I mean, how much tactical planning is involved? I'm not going to ask you to reveal exactly what you think you're going to do, because you're not going to tell me, but how much tactical planning is there? Or do you kind of just say, just get out there and do what you need to do?
Look, we just want a simple race. I mean, Everyone kind of knows we've King of Kingsfield there just to make sure it's a good honest gallop. They don't need to be doing anything like the fractions done in Leopardstown, but I just want the mare to get into her stride and not be a crawl. She doesn't like making running, so we have the order to do that.
Was Leopardstown, did that pan out exactly as you had planned it, or was there any part of that race that was a bit of a surprise?
Over the first couple of hurdles, I didn't think they'd be going as hard as they were.
They were going quicker than everybody thought they'd go.
Yeah, but listen, the lads got the tactics right. Look, it's not that she doesn't want to be in front. For the first half of the race, just once you get her into top gear and into her stride, she's fine. If she kicked on the top of the hill, it wouldn't bother me. But look, we'll see what happens.
How great is it to have Jack Kennedy back in one piece, and how is he?
He's brilliant. You see him here this morning yourself. He's in great nick. He's worked very, very hard on his fitness. You know, in race, that new centre to have there. It's a wonderful place. Look, Jack is Jack. The boys have all done a wonderful job. They took all their opportunities at both hands, but Jack is Jack.
Outside Brighterdaysahead, I mean, you've got a wonderful start to today with Romeo Coolio, and you've got good chances all through the day. We were talking yesterday, and you were sort of saying, well, I actually look at the team and think I'm a bit stronger class-wise, just at the top of the pyramid. It just looks a little better, doesn't it?
Probably not as strong with handicappers this year. You know, that kind of does a circle every couple of years. You'll have your few handicappers. You know, a horse you think might be a graded horse could end up being a good handicapper the following year, you know. That doesn't make the top level. Look, today we've got good chances. We've Romeo in the first. I think he's got a great each way chance. He won't be far away. Calaconte could finish the first 4 or 5 in the mares. Champion hurdle, hopefully we win. Will do. I think he's got a big chance in the last.
I think he's a big chance, and I was looking at your horses for tomorrow. Obviously you've got the 2 in the bumper. Eclipso's chance, a great chance. Is Found at 50 in what is being, you know, dubbed a champion chase for John Bonn. Is he a bit forgotten?
He is forgotten. Look, I think John Bonn is rightly so, you know, the big horse in the race, and you know, a very short favourite, but Found at 50 is flying. He wasn't right after Leopardstown. I haven't had him as well, I'd say. I don't think he's been as well all year, if I'm being honest.
And he beat Solness and Navan, and everybody's forgetting that.
But it's funny, isn't it? You get that race, and you often think, oh, it's a 1-horse race or it's a 2-horse race. How often do you get a complete boil over in the championship?
It's a bit like Romeo Coolio today, and Henry's horse probably in the first. They're a little bit forgotten about, and no one's talking about them because I haven't seen them in a while. If they were at the DRF and they'd won, they'd be the big talking horse. But it's kind of last man out. You know, everyone kind of talks about them.
Recency bias. We're all guilty of recency bias.
Yeah. But listen, I'm happy with all my horses. Listen, hopefully we can get a few winners out of the week.
You won the bumper a few times. How would this guy stack up with, obviously On Violin was the next coming when he won it, and Fiona?
You talking about Calypso's chance, yeah?
Yeah.
He'd be banged there with. He'd be a classier horse than Fiona and them type of horses, but he's no Envoy Allen.
Envoy Allen is a different league, yeah.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, you know. Look, he has his chance. He's not a massive horse, so he's not a big soft ground horse. Which I don't know if you've seen him walk around this morning. He's a handy enough horse. He's not a big slow horse. So I think he could get away with the ground better than probably a lot of them. I hope.
It walks quick enough, does it?
It does, yeah. I walked it yesterday.
Good to soft?
Yeah, probably if it was at home, it'd be proper yielding ground. You know what I mean? Like, you know, not a whole lot of soft in it. You know, yielding, good yielding. You know.
No excuses anyway. It looks pretty even for everyone, doesn't it?
To be honest, I think if anyone's blaming the ground, not unless you want something that wants very fast ground or very, very soft, no one can blame the ground.
If you want very fast, you should have been in Bahrain with you last week.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very pleased to be back. I can tell you that much. There's nowhere you would rather be today than out here on the gallops on the first morning of Cheltenham. There's a proper buzz about it as well. I mean, to what extent does it? You're such an old pro, you've been here so many times, but to what extent does it still get you?
He's not that old, is he?
You know what I mean?
Just a little bit younger than you, Nick, and probably a little bit older than Jane. So somewhere in the middle, I'd say.
I don't reckon we're too far apart.
We probably aren't, but we'll say no more about that. No, listen, there's no place like Cheltenham. You know, just when you even go to Dublin Airport to get on a flight coming over, everyone you meet, like from the man checking in the tickets to that. You know, driving the bus, you know, everyone's talking about Cheltenham. It's a great buzz. You come here, then we go up to the house we always stay in. It's just no place like it. You come down here in the morning, you see everyone here. It's you know, probably
it's the centre of the universe for us.
It is, like it is. Listen, it is. People say Cheltenham isn't to be all. It is.
It is. Of course it is. Do you know this fella here? Guy with the beanie hat.
I know him well. Yeah, I know him very well. Yeah.
Should we bring him in, have a chat? Yep. How are you, Mr. Gavin Cromwell?
Good, Nick, yeah. Good.
He's off. Gordon Elliott, he's gone, he's disappeared. Good to see you. Just before we bring Gavin in, every time that mare's name was mentioned, a big broad grin on his face.
She's never been better. You kind of have to admit when he said the pressure is similar to Don Cossack in the Gold Cup, and he thought Don Cossack would win the Gold Cup. He's thinking he's going to win the Champion Hurdle.
I know. Good morning, ex-Champion Hurdle winning training yourself, Gavin Cromwell. How are you?
I'm good. I'd be excited if I had her as well.
Well, I know. Yeah. I mean, and
That's
you know.
Interesting. Now let's get your perspective on her, because she doesn't. You had Esbordal in small pocket rocket. This is a big scopy. Looks like a staying mare.
Yeah, probably more of a galloper than he was, but by God, she can gallop.
She can gallop, yeah.
You know him so well too. You know Gordon probably better than anyone else on this entire ground. Watching his body language when he talks about her, have you seen that very often?
Probably not for a while, but yeah, I'm sure he's excited.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your team, particularly today and through the rest of the week. What are you most looking forward to?
Listen, we've lots. Thankfully, I suppose we're pitching only by night in a little bit strong in the Arkle, but only 5 runners, and she is only a novice this year, and she can run the Mayor's Chase next year and the year after, So
I like the logic. It's only 5 in it.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in novice.
Yeah, absolutely. And his jumping was far from perfect in Leopardstown the last day, and
she's a revelation over fences.
She's very, very good to jump. I didn't see her as being a 2-miler, but she just jumps so well.
She's quick.
Yeah.
And everyone's asking people to be brave and bold and run horses in against ones that might on paper be better, to try and see where they slot. You'll find out so much more about her today.
Yeah. No, it was a difficult decision to make, but listen, I'm happy we've gone this route, and hopefully it works out.
You have a lot of depth to your team. We talk about 6.5 in the Mayor's Novice. Obviously, you supplemented. I know they were thinking for the Gold Cup, Stumptown, Vanillia in the cross country. But what are the horses that for you have the most potential going forward?
Total luck today. If he jumps, I think cheek pieces on was really sharpened him up, and listen, it's a very competitive race, but I think he'll be in the mix. Now is the hour in the National Hunt Chase. Probably would have liked the ground to be a little bit softer than it is, but he'll be fine on it. But he's just a dour stayer, and I know it is over an extended trip, but
he was catching him in Navan.
He was staying on well, so hopefully run well.
I'm fascinated by, I know the way you're thinking. I think everybody is, because we're all wondering whether you're just scratching the surface with this horse and how much more there is there that we haven't seen yet. What are you seeing?
That's exactly it. To be honest, he's I think he stepped forward a lot from Leopardstown, and listen, he's a big beast of a horse. I think he's not finished improving yet.
And we talked quite a bit about him this season, probably more than you'd care to think about. But you've often said it's kind of a work in progress. You're working on his jumping all the time. Are you where you want to be with that now?
Yeah, definitely. His jumping this year on a whole has been hugely improved on last year, and he's learning.
Have you done anything consciously to improve it? Because he was just a little bit lethargic over his fences last year.
No, we've just taken our time with him and let him do it and let him come. Keith has been a big part of it. He's so good to school him as well, and he's ridden him all season as well.
Okay.
But I presume Mark will be on him on Friday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You mentioned the cross-country horses. I mean, Stumptown in particular. He was so cheeky here when he won earlier in the season. How much more has he got up his sleeve, do you think? And the handicappers had a right old go, to be fair.
Yeah. Listen, off a mark of 157, if he was to run in a handicap chase, I think he'd finish a furlong behind him, to be honest.
Do you?
Yeah, he's just so good at this discipline, and I don't think the handicap the weight has as much of effect in this race, thankfully, because I don't think he'd have a chance if that was the case. But he jumps really well. He loves it.
And Vanillia 10 pounds lower. He looked good last time. Is there any chance this, like he hammered Coco Beach at Punchestown?
Yeah, he's off his given form, like the Grand National form and the Albert Bartlett. He has lots of ability there, and he has taken to it very well, but Stumptown has just been a complete revelation.
Stumptown's different class, £10 won't matter. Okay.
Yeah. Gavin, thanks so much. Best chance of the week, you think?
Stumptown 6.5. and I don't want to sound crazy, but another way of thinking.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, if you had to pick any horse that you don't have in training to take home this week, which one would you have?
Brighter days ahead.
There you go.
There you go. There's a big brighter days ahead
down
vibe
here
down
along
here,
the
isn't there? It
Constitution
is.
Union runner.
I mean, I realise. So when you come down here, obviously, it is the mass Irish challenge, isn't it? Which is so huge now. But I got the feeling yesterday as well when I was walking around that there's so much buzz about this mare.
But rightly so. She got us all kind of
Yeah.
believing that it was possible when she came to Christmas, and we haven't seen her since. And the camp don't talk too much.
Yeah.
They talked up Sam Crow. They weren't that wrong. They talked up Don Cossack.
Well, they were
didn't get
quite
that
wrong about Sam Crow, though, weren't they?
Last year, they had egg in their face with this mare when she got beaten by Golden Ace. They're after forgetting that memory.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? It's, with all of them, you know, with Jack Kennedy, not a man prone to overstatement. With Gordon Elliott, you know, you get a wry smile, but he doesn't go big. With the O'Learys, you're right. Every time they talk about her, they talk about her as though she's a superstar. But the form book at the moment, Gavin said, it's one performance, isn't it? We're basing it on one performance at the
But
moment
she's only
that
six
is
now.
of an elite level.
Yeah. Listen, I think last year you'd have to forgive her just the way the race was run.
And they've learned their lesson. They've
learned
put
their
in a
lesson.
horse. They put in King of Kingsfield.
There we are. Thank you very much for coming to chat. I will let you go and do
Thank
what
you.
you need to do.
Best of
Gavin
luck.
Cromwell, who's got some wonderful chances this week. Stumptown, 6.5 in the Mayor's Novice. And I know the way you're thinking. Again, it's
not beyond the realms
It's not
of
beyond the realms of
possibility.
possibility, but it's just hard to quite picture it, isn't it?
It is and it isn't. If you watch back his Leopardstown run behind Galopin Des Champs, he's catching them. I think the extra 2 furlongs will actually enhance him, whereas it mightn't enhance a Banbridge. It's all about peaking him for the day, and Gavin Cromwell has a very good record at this meeting because he's kind of a target trainer.
All right, I want to get your thoughts on all the races today.
Okay, quick fire round.
So let's kick off with the champion hurdle itself. We've had a lot of Brighter Days Ahead chat. Are you sticking with her?
No, Constitution
Hill. Okay,
I truly believe that he is the best.
Talk me through how you think the last 2 or 3 furlongs of the race will look.
I think King of Kingsfield will take them to the hurdle at the top of the hill, and Jack Kennedy will have to take it over from there because she's a real strong stayer. And I'd imagine Nico will just plant himself on her tail. Why would he overcomplicate it? Paul Townend will probably be just behind him with a set of cheek pieces, which has not been discussed much on State Ban. And obviously Golden Ace and Winter Fog will follow behind. But I think it'll be nip and tuck from the top of the hill, but Jack will have to pull it along because King of Kingsfield won't be good enough to carry her into the straight.
All right, it's getting chilly now, isn't it?
Well, you don't have a hat on and I've got gloves on.
That's right. I'm the most unsuitably dressed person.
You're still in Bahrain.
Stop. The amount of mentions of that is just getting ridiculous.
I've just been told that Willie Mullins is incoming.
Oh, poor man.
Poor man.
He's going to have to talk to me again.
We've literally.
I can't believe
Is there any
it.
other Irish trainer that wants to talk to us this morning?
No, that's it. I think I've used up all my bullets, haven't I?
Okay.
Okay, so.
Kopek de Board, Mageborough, Constitution Hill,
Is that-
Lossiemouth. Which one doesn't win?
Oh, I thought you were giving me your selections for the day, and I was going to go, oh, really?
Which one doesn't win?
Well,
Come on, he's
maybe
coming.
more than one
He's
won't win.
coming.
Hang on. I think Mageborough will win. I think he's a
So do
certainty. Kopek de Board, I don't know. It's probably
find out in a
win by a
second.
long way or not do much at all. And then, I don't know, we were talking about Lossiemouth yesterday. And I don't know, I'll be
She's
interested
so
to know
fit.
what the level of confidence is today relative to what it was 24 hours ago.
It's funny, when we were watching the horses circle at the stable yard before we came down here, you know, you can tell by their tack who's got, you know, which trainer owns which horse. And then I saw a horse and I was unsure about the tack, but I was like, it's definitely not a Willie Mullins horse because it's got condition on it.
Are you going to tell him that to his face when he comes
Willie's
over?
horses are just so fit. They're so fit.
Yeah.
Hence his record here is over 100 winners.
Is there one that you looked at and thought, oi, that's ready to roll?
It's probably Kopek de Board because he's a very impressive looking horse.
Okay.
A very big, scopy, and he was behaving.
All right, I've asked him so many questions over the last week or so. So when he comes over and finishes taking this call, I'm going to let you ask most of the questions.
Thanks very much.
What are you going to open up with?
I think he's already answered all of our questions.
What's the one thing that you don't know that you'd like to know from Willie Mullins? It can be anything.
How many hours sleep do you operate on?
Well, I think we know the answer to that, don't we?
4.
If that, I'd say, especially this week, wouldn't you?
Oh, Come on in here, Willie Mullins. Get off that phone.
He's
The most important man.
Here we are.
no. Hang on. I did say to Jane, you've answered so many of my questions in the last few weeks. I was just going to leave it to Jane.
How old are those gloves?
They're about 7 or 8 years. That's all. Yeah, they're quite new for me.
Are you superstitious?
No.
That's a great relief. That's a great. You couldn't do this job and be stupidly superstitious.
You couldn't be him and superstitious.
I gave up being superstitious when I was
Getting
about
beaten.
10 or 12, going to the races on Stephen's Day with my mother, and we'd counted something like all the magpies, and what was it? I don't know, but anyhow.
1 for sorrow, 2 for joy.
Yeah,
and all
keep
that,
going, yeah, and then we got 8
3
for
for
a
a
week.
golf.
He's definitely not superstitious when he's in all the magpies.
So 8 for a week, and next thing the car turned over, and on ice it was and I said I'm never going to be superstitious again, and
look at you now.
there you are. So there.
Over 100 winners at Cheltenham.
So yeah.
So how many hours sleep do you get during this week?
I would get 7 or 8 a night.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm
That's
good.
pretty good.
I'm good
Nick,
at
take
sleep.
note.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
That is good. Actually, are you a good sleeper? When you do you let worries about horses go through your head when you hit the pillow at night or
I
not?
don't think about horses at all when I go to bed. Yeah, just
That's a big asset.
I switch off completely. Yeah.
And have you always been able to do that? Have you always been able to compartmentalise quite well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just other things might not horses. No, I don't ever let planning or how to ride a race or how jockeys should ride. No, I just switch off completely.
Okay, at what stage of the slumber did you think cheek pieces on Stateman? Because why not? Nothing to lose.
Yeah, and he just looked. I mean, when Lossiemouth fell the other day, he looked around and said, "This is not a race anymore," did he? He just, to me, when I'm watching him, I'm thinking, this guy's given up. And at Christmas, when the horses weren't around, it was the same thing. I said, this guy just needs to be sharp. And so we've sharpened up his work and put cheek pieces on, and we think it worked.
Yeah. So you have himself and Lossiemouth both within 40 minutes of each other. Are they both in the form of their life?
Well, Lossiemouth looked in good form, didn't she?
Yeah.
Going up there, once she saw the people in the camera, she just took off. And but she, she's in good form now. She's in good form. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But I mean, I think if she was in better form, we might have left her in the champion hurdle. But her last piece of work wasn't good enough for me. It wasn't champion hurdle work anyway.
That's interesting
yeah.
for anybody who's thinking she's a banker in the mares.
Yeah, but I was wondering how is her work relative to her normal work? You see, I mean, is she a sparkling workhorse generally, or does she just get it done?
She would be a much better workhorse than Stateman. Yeah, he's lazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when Paul has talked about Stateman, he's often talked about his temperament. He obviously really likes the horse as a horse, as well as a horse who wins a lot of races.
He's won him a lot of money.
Yeah, I know that. It's not just about that, is it?
Paul loves him, and he thinks he's just a really good horse. But he's not. He never shows off, does he? He only wins by a length or two, or a length and a half. He doesn't go away and win 10 lengths, and that's why Paul always thinks there's so much more in the tank.
So how many have you got on the ground here now? How many have already arrived? Is it obviously today's and tomorrow's? You got some of Thursdays here as well, yes or no?
They're all there in Aintree.
Okay.
There isn't enough room in Cheltenham, so we say on Thursdays and Fridays in Aintree, and they'll come down. Once the Tuesday horses leave, there'll be room for them here.
Good stuff.
No concerns, are all over in good form?
All in good form, yeah.
We obviously have a lot of questions about the young horses when they travel, first time travelling, and particularly a lot of talk about Kopek de Board. We've seen him yesterday morning and this morning, hood on.
Yeah.
He's behaving.
He is, and he was a lot more settled this morning, and after work Paul took off the hood and he was lovely standing there while he was chatting to Charlie McCarthy and his sons.
Interesting, at Leopardstown you said, I think we were just chatting, and he had misbehaved to a certain degree, and I was thinking you'd maybe change things around, bring him in late, maybe saddle him up down the stable yard, and you were like, no.
I hate that.
You have to learn.
Yeah, you have to learn. And,
so is he going to be stabled or saddled in the pre-parading here and do everything normal?
I imagine he will, yeah. Mm-hmm. Unless he's misbehaving badly when they bring him down. But you know,
I like that. He sticks to his routine.
Yeah, quite right, but that's it. Why have a routine if you don't stick to it?
I just remember with John Bond, they saddled him down the stable yard, brought him up one lap and out, and they just went as far as they had to go, which is their prerogative.
Yeah.
But everybody's different.
Yeah. No, I always like just do it as normal, and the horse has got to learn to do it, and the only way to learn is do it. Keep doing it, you know.
Do you need to take that? If you do, take it. Go. Well, I don't want to keep you if you because there's owners on the phone. Hey, listen.
Pretty important people ringing him.
While Willie takes that, did you listen to Charlie McCarthy on the podcast?
I didn't, but
So he was
I'm
on
familiar
yesterday.
with his story.
You know the story.
I do.
So yeah, I didn't realise till I rang him the night before last that he knew that he had cancer at the DRF, and he had a kidney out 10 days ago.
Yeah, remarkable man to be here. A great tonic, and hopefully it'll be an even better tonic.
But what's lovely is that I've had about 6 or 7 messages just this morning saying I want Kopek de Board to win for Charlie because they heard the story and I think wild horses.
Story because the McCarthys don't have many horses, and their whole family, and I'd say the town of Fermoy are going to make it across.
It sounds like it's going to be a big family effort today, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Charlie's a very popular man down there, and you know, it's huge. I was amazed how well he looked and how well he was this morning. It's not warm down here, is it?
I mean, it's not. It's actually quite chilly. I'm completely unsuitably dressed, as has been pointed out by just about everybody. But I did say to Ollie Bell and Matt Chapman, I don't have a dressing room to go and run off and get ready in. Do you know what I mean?
Do they?
I know this is a serious business, and you know we can sometimes talk about these races very clinically. But a lot of the people who you train for the last couple of weeks, and I've said to them, you know, what's it like having horses with Willie in it? The first thing they say is, it's fun. And I know it's more fun when you're winning, but you do try and make it an entertainment experience this week for them as well as everything else.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of being here if you're not going to enjoy yourself? I mean, to me, Cheltenham was all about fun. Always was. You come over, if you're lucky enough at the time to have a runner or a ride or something like that, it's like you all use the phrase the Olympics of our sport, but it's also where you meet everyone the whole year. People from Scotland, you know, England, Wales, Ireland, and the amount of people that travel, Americans.
The amount of people even down here this morning, they're soaking up. It's so much more than the 40 minutes around the race.
To me, they should make more of the gallops mornings. This is the start of the atmosphere of the day, and so we want to see...
Careful what you wish for now. We'll have a grandstand down here.
We want to see the tea van back here. It's been moved.
I know.
So we need to get that back.
No
That's
bacon butties, no tea.
Travesty.
So hopefully that'll be moved back. But you know, it's just I love it down here in the morning, and it's fun if you haven't been here. You know.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think it should be back in.
If you haven't, get down here. I know Tuesday morning is the best morning, but there'll still be plenty of horses for the rest of the week. Just before
no gloves.
No gloves for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just being clever. You know what I mean? But
You've got those little mitten things.
yeah, I'm a little child at heart.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm not sure you've ever been a little child at heart, have you?
Yeah. Say no more.
Before I let you go, how's Galopin? Is he good?
He's good. Just had a report from Aintree, and he rode out yesterday when he came over, and rode out again this morning, and he's good. Very happy with him.
Cool. And tomorrow, I wondered whether Inergamen had been the least written up horse of the whole festival, given what he's already achieved here. What do you think?
Walking that ground, it's more John Bond ground than Inergamen ground.
Not quite wet enough for him?
I think so. Much rain was last night. It seemed to be drizzling for... Is there an official report?
I don't have it.
I didn't see any.
I literally staying right beside the track. There wasn't much.
But the problem is you can go a mile into town and it can be hammering down, and they're not getting much here, and you never know. So unless we got the gauge,
we all know that the track rides. Well, my experience over the years, the track always rides slower than it walks. But I thought it walked good ground yesterday.
Okay.
And I just thought that wouldn't be his ground.
Okay. Who's it going to suit most of you? Who comes into it more in these conditions of your
I haven't thought about it that much, because what suits one won't suit another, and so the balance just shifts and it doesn't bother. You know, it's the way it is, and you have to take it. And it's not going. I don't think it's going to suit Energamine, but most of the others will be fine with it.
Okay, thanks so much for stopping by and having a chat with us.
Well done. Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks, Willie. Willie Mullins. We've heard from Willie. We've heard from Gavin Cromwell. We've heard from Gordon Elliott.
We really can do no more.
We really can't do any more. What's the time now? It's coming up to 1:45. I think it is time for breakfast. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. We certainly have.
What's your each way play for the day?
My each way play for the day is quite easy for me. It's Will Do in the National Hunt
done,
Chase, trained by Gordon. We had a chat with him about him yesterday, and I think he was quite keen that 3-6 round here he'd just be able to ease his way in. And actually, the wind has picked up now, and it is going to start drying the track.
Yeah, it's bloody cold. My each way play for the day is Work Ahead in the first.
Yeah, actually, I've tipped him as well. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Rachel.
Well, I don't know. I walked about half a mile with Rachel yesterday as she was walking Work Ahead up the track, and she seemed hopeful, I would say, rather than wildly
She
confident.
would never exude too much confidence. No. She plays her cards close to her chest.
I think it's the Kopek thing. I think if it wasn't for Kopek, she'd be confident.
I think Team Henry de Bromhead are
You're
very...
shaking.
You're
cold. Actually shaking.
I'm actually cold.
You're actually shaking. I can't believe it.
I would say, yeah. I think with the Supreme, it's a better and deeper race than one horse, and he's a good horse.
All right, that's us done. I've no idea whether this experiment has worked or not, but I'll let you judge it. Thank you very much. We've certainly had some wonderful guests. My thanks to Willie Mullins, to Gordon Elliott, to Gavin Cromwell, to Charlie Swan, and most of all, thank you.
See you later.
Bye.